On today's show, the Summer League has begun, and that means the LA Clippers Summer League campaign has begun. Kobe Brown, Jordan Miller, Cam Christie, Moussa Diabate. How did these guys do in the Clippers' first Summer League game? Were there any standouts? Going to be talking about it all on today's Locked On Summer League Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA. Finished my 19th season as a Clipper fan just around 2 months ago. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod and subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more NBA, LA Clipper, and LA sports content. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, where I want you to let me know what you thought of our first Summer League game. Were there any standouts for you? Give me your thoughts on some of the players. And before we get into talking about the players, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball, and we are heading into prime baseball time right now where there's no other sport on. These soccer tournaments have just ended, but it's going to be the baseball and the Olympics for the next month or so, so get in on the action with FanDuel. But let's talk about the action that occurred in Vegas for the Clippers' first Summer League game against the Denver Nuggets, and it would be an 88-78 win for our guys, the good guys. And it was kind of a steady increasing the lead, but really the fourth quarter is when we kind of created some separation. We won the first quarter by 1 point, won the second quarter by 2 points, tied the third quarter, so we really had just a 3-point lead going into the fourth, and then we outscored the Nuggets 28-21 in that fourth quarter to get the 88-78 win. So as I mentioned, the names that I'm looking at, Moussa Diabate, Kobe Brown, Cam Christie, Jordan Miller, all of which started in this game. And then off the bench, nobody that I expect to see on the Clippers next year, but a couple familiar names. DJ Rodman, but he actually didn't play in this game. USC player, Dennis Rodman's son. DNP coach's decision. And Dante Jones is coaching this team. So Clippers assistant coach and former NBA player. I don't know why I almost said former basketball player. Former NBA player and former Clipper, but he was, kind of a bench warmer for the Clippers. Dante Jones, who's most famous for being on that 2009 Nuggets team and being their best perimeter defender. Used to guard Kobe a lot. But he's coaching the team. Amari Bailey, that went to UCLA. He is coming off the bench for the Clippers Summer League team, so that's a familiar name. But really focusing on those four guys in the starting lineup, Moussa Diabate, Kobe Brown, Cam Christie, Jordan Miller, the guys that we have actually drafted. And the standout performer, without a doubt, was Jordan Miller. This reminded me of last year when Kobe Brown had that great game, but the aggression from Jordan Miller was really impressive for me. And this is a guy who showed us virtually nothing in Summer League last year. He just kind of looked like a poor man's Amir Coffey, had the ability to kind of attack the closeout, had some length and size on the wing, some decent defense, but just could not shoot a lick and was only finishing around the basket on like drop-offs and cuts, stuff like that. But this season, for the Ontario Clippers, in the Showcase Cup, he averaged 19 points, 6 rebounds on 50% shooting and 41 from 3. And then in the regular season, in 23 games in the G League, he averaged 22.5 points and 7 rebounds and 2 assists on 48% shooting, 31 from 3 though. So the three-point shot, jury is still out on that, I would assume, based on those percentages. But 22.5 points in the G, I mean, that tells me that there might be an NBA player right there. And listen to the thing about Jordan Miller. He went to Miami, right? And he was picked by us with the 48th pick in the draft last year. Didn't really get any time this past season. Only played 8 games, right? 8 games, garbage time, 3.5 minutes a game. So you can't really tell anything with that. Let me tell you this. Those G League stats are encouraging, but what I saw in this game, the 3-point shot looking so much more confident. So comfortable to the point where he actually made a no-dip 3. And what I mean by that is those threes where a guy catches it over his head already in the shooting motion and just goes up into a shot without bringing it down. Because normally when you catch the ball, you get into your shooting motion, you bring the ball down, you bring your elbow down naturally before you get the release up. But that Nico Batum is one of the guys, and I've seen Reggie Miller do it back in the day, catch the ball up top, not even bring it down, and just put it up. And that takes a lot of strength, accuracy, and to see that from Jordan Miller, because what it does is it, doesn't allow the closeout to get there as fast. Or should I say the closeout gets there in the same amount of time, but you're getting the shot off faster, so it doesn't it makes a difference. It makes a difference. So that's something that a lot of guys are trying to adopt these days, is that no dip 3. And the fact that Jordan Miller had it after last season, he couldn't hit shots in the perimeter in the summer league, that was really impressive. And it wasn't just that 3. He made a bunch of threes. He shot 6 for 10 from 3. A lot of corner threes, and I loved his aggression attacking closeouts. He got to the line a lot in this game. 8 free throws, and he made all of them. I love that Euro step he has. He goes right into the chest. I mean, these were very encouraging signs, right? And last year I said, poor man's Amir Coffey. And I will say, he has a lot of Amir Coffey tendencies. Left-handed player. Sometimes you can involve him in some pick-and-roll actions, but he's not necessarily a pick-and-roll ball handler. But having him as a potential 3-and-D kind of guy, I got to focus more on his defense next game, but having him as that 3-and-D kind of guy, able to knock down the open shot, good slasher, can attack the closeout, goes into the body, good in transition, good athlete. Those are the kind of things the Clippers could honestly use next year. I think the biggest challenge for a guy like Jordan Miller is, can he prove to the coaching staff that, 1, he can defend at a high level to stay on the court, and 2, and most importantly, I'd say, knock down the open 3. Can he make that shot consistently and give Amir Coffey some competition coming off that bench? I mean, I'm not going to say yes based on one game in the summer league, but I will say, he was spectacular. 36 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. He did turn the ball over 4 times, though. He shot 11 for 18 from the field, 6 for 10 from 3, and 8 for 8 from the foul line in 30 minutes. I absolutely loved what I was seeing from Jordan Miller. But again, I want you to temper your expectations. I know it's good to get excited. I don't want to, rain on the parade. But we saw Kobe Brown have a 30-plus point outing in the summer league last year. That didn't mean he was ready to contribute consistently to a win-now team like the Clippers. And we are still a win-now team. As long as we have Kawhi Leonard on the roster, we are going to be a win-now team. I want to see Jordan Miller break into the rotation. I want to see a youth movement. I want to see these young guys on the Clippers. And it's sad that we've already lost Brandon Boston. I really want to see Brandon Boston thrive as a Clipper. But the more these younger guys show potential, the more the front office can say, maybe we're not screwed with the fact that we don't have a bunch of our picks in the upcoming years. Maybe we have better talents than we realize, and we could either, develop them and see what they can be, or raise their value and get something for them. So in Jordan Miller's case, I liked what I saw in this game. But coming up, going to be talking more about the rest of the team, including our first round pick last year, Kobe Brown. I got to tell you a little something about FanDuel. I love sports. I love them so much I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer games. And the sports aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day all summer long. I'm looking at the odds for the home run derby, and I'm telling you, if you're a Dodger fan, Teoscar Hernandez is plus 1,100 for it. Plus 1,100. The third lowest odds. I say go for it. Put your faith in our guy, Theo Oscar Hernandez, and hopefully he'll bring it home. Now, where do you do that? Just head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. All right, talking about the Clippers' 88-78 win over the Denver Nuggets in the first game of the Summer League in Las Vegas. It was like most Summer League games, it was a hard-nosed defensive game. The offense isn't great, pretty sloppy, but guys are playing hard. Guys are trying to prove themselves, earn spots on a roster, earn livings, essentially. The Clippers shot 37% in this game. Nuggets 41%. But I'll tell you something that made a big difference. The Clippers shot 15 more times. 15 more times. And only 3 more free throws. Actually, so 3 more free throws and 15 more shot attempts. You know where that comes from? The rebounding battle. Particularly the offensive rebounding battle. 16-8 in favor of the Clippers. I don't feel like I say that often about the actual Clippers winning the offensive rebound battle like that. 40-31 in the overall rebound battle, but 16-8 in offensive rebounds. And then the Nuggets turn the ball over 16 times. We turn the ball over 11 times. So when you get beaten on the glass and you turn the ball over more than the other team, they're going to get more shots up than you. It's going to be hard to win. And even though the Denver Nuggets shot a better percentage, they did not win because they got 15 less shots up and 3 less free throws up. And by the way, as for the free throw percentage, Clippers shot 90% from the line. The three-point percentage and the field goal percentage, not so great. 37% from the field, just 31% from three. But the offensive rebounding thing, I talked about it with one of the teams I coached this weekend. We lost because we got absolutely crushed on the glass. And no rebounds, no rings. I say it all the time to my players, and it really applies at every level. Like, I cannot understate what rebounding means. And when you're getting second chances, more shots than your opposition, it's just basic. I hate to say it for the anti-stat crowd, but it's basic math. You know what I'm saying? You get more shots up, you have a good chance of scoring more points than the other team. So big time stuff from let's see who got these offensive rebounds. Kobe Brown got 3 of them. Let's talk about Kobe Brown for a sec. I have to say, I'm not too impressed. I'm trying to figure out what Kobe Brown's NBA talent is. Because what I can see is that he's a big body wing. He's strong. He can shoot the ball a little bit. He has good defensive instincts. He has solid hands. He's not the best laterally. He can't create his own shot. He's pretty stiff, doesn't have much wiggle in his game. Played college for 4 years. But what makes him a guy? He's a little undersized to be a 4. And he doesn't look fast enough to be like an NBA wing unless he's got something that stands out. What's his NBA talent? Kenny Smith, I think it was Kenny Smith that said, when I figured out what my NBA talent is, and for him it was, shooting the ball, handling the ball, but really shooting the ball, he was able to find a role and became a champion as a result. What is Kobe Brown's NBA talent? What is going to give him a career in this league? I still don't really know. In this game, he had 13 points. He had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, a block, and 2 turnovers on 5 for 16 shooting and 0 for 7 from 3, 3 for 4 from the foul line. So look, 0 for 7 from 3 doesn't convince me at all. I think Kobe Brown plays the right way. I think he's an underrated passer. I saw that in the season 2, and I mentioned it on this show several times. He sees cutters. His passing mechanics are solid. You know what I mean? Like his bounce passes. He puts the right weight on passes. All that stuff is good. But the shooting, if he cannot shoot the ball, his lateral movement defensively doesn't seem good enough to guard actual good NBA players. I think he can get away with guarding some second unit guys here and there. But then the question about his offense gets raised in the regular season. Are you good enough to stay on the floor offensively compared to other options? That's something we have to see, and we're going to keep an eye on this. Keep an eye out on for this Summer League. Keep an eye out on this Summer League. Jesus God. Sorry, guys. Anyway, Long night. But one thing I was also enjoying was seeing Moussa Diabate. And speaking of a guy who needs to just get something offensively, it would be, Moussa Diabate would see the floor if he had something offensively. If he had a little bit of touch around the basket, if he was a lob threat, if he had a mid-range, if he had a three, of course, but something. His touch around the rim is suspect, but his versatility defensively and his mobility on the perimeter for a big is really good, and we've seen this from the first Summer League games he played in 2022. He can really move his feet. But offensively, that's what's going to prevent him from getting into the Clippers rotation. Because the thing about Moussa is, the positive thing I was going to say was, he was showing some solid passing out of the short roll. He made some solid reads, so that's always good to see. In the game, he had 11 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, no turnovers, on 3 for 6 shooting. And how about this? 5 for 5 from the foul line. So you love to see that. But 4 of the offensive rebounds were from Moussa. 4 of the 16 offensive rebounds. That's something that he's shown from the beginning of his Clipper days, even in the Summer League in 2022, was he can really crash the offensive glass. I wanted to also mention the stats for Kobe Brown in the G League. In the regular season, he played 18 games, and he averaged 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 5.5 assists on 50% shooting and 33% from 3. And then he played 4 games in the Showcase Cup and averaged 14 points. So those are pretty good stats. 19 points, 7 rebounds. That's less than Jordan Miller. So is Jordan Miller better than Kobe Brown? I don't know. So far through 1 game of the Summer League, he looks like it. By the way, if you're wondering, there's been 2 games of the Summer League for the Clippers so far. Don't worry. I'm going to talk about that one as well. I just thought, look, I'm trying to give you guys as much content as possible. The offseason is, sometimes hard to think of episodes to talk about. So when I have content, might as well just give as many episodes as I can to you. So I'm going to do a separate episode for game number 2. But as far as this one, right? So those stats from Kobe Brown, those are pretty good, especially the 5.5 assists. As I talked about, Kobe Brown can really pass. But the 33% from 3. As a wing in the NBA today, if you are not at least a great defender, you have to be a solid 3-point shooter. Otherwise, what is your NBA skill if you're not creating? And Kobe Brown is not going to be a creator. I'm not going to put him in a box. Maybe he improves his bag and one day becomes a creator in the NBA. But as of now, I'd say 90% he's not going to be a creator in the NBA. He's going to be a guy that plays off of other dudes. If he even, solidifies a place for himself in the league over a certain amount of time. I want the best for all Clipper players, as everybody knows, especially guys that we drafted. So I'm rooting for Kobe Brown. I just wasn't too impressed. As far as Moussa, I was impressed, but it's nothing we haven't seen before outside of some nice reads in the short roll for me. Other than that, we know he's such a great athlete, he's an energy guy, but has he made the steps offensively to make a case to be in the Clippers rotation? We'll have to keep an eye on that. Coming up, though, going to be talking about Cam Christie, the only player that we drafted this year. The brother of Laker, Max Christie. Going to be talking about his performance in this one coming up. I got to tell you a little something about eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit, only available to U.S. customers. All right. So, to finish things off, let's talk about the performance of Cam Christie. So, Cam Christie, of course, picked by the Clippers this year in the draft, brother of Laker Max Christie. He showed me exactly what I talked about in an episode I want to say it was last week, where I was talking about Cam Christie, and I talked about that I saw his highlights and he looked like an athletic player, another guy that kind of plays off of guys, can catch and shoot, can attack closeouts, and has defensive potential, good athlete. He was picked 46th, by the way, this year from the University of Minnesota. He was a one and done. He's only 18 years old, but he turns 19 in 9 days. So on July 24th, he will be 19 years old. It is crazy to me, by the way, that there are players in the NBA that were born in 2005. That is insane. But anyway, so Cam Christie, I liked his quick trigger. He's going to just keep letting it fly. He was 2 for 8 from 3. I just like the no hesitation on that, but he didn't shoot well in the game or from 3. 3 for 12 from the field, 2 for 8 from 3. He had 8 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and he was a plus 15. Overall, I liked his instincts. I want to keep an eye out on him on defense, but he's very skinny out there. And that's something they talked about in the broadcast, that he wants to just work on getting an NBA body, just, continuous gaining of muscle, continuing to improve his physique, I guess. Continuing to work on his body, continuing to get stronger, build more muscle, all that stuff, as so many rookies and young players, need to do when they get to the NBA. And by the way, on that note, Jordan Miller, maybe this is just me imagining things, but let me know if you noticed it as well. He looked bigger and stronger than last year's Summer League. He actually gained muscle and was in the gym. So good for Jordan Miller, but I could just be wrong on that. I could just be imagining things. Let me know if you agree. Cam Christie, though, that'll, be something he works on, and I have no doubt that he will gain more muscle and all that. But as far as his first game, I liked the quick trigger. I like his instincts. He just reminds me of what I talked about and what I saw in those highlights, weirdly. I don't think highlights are a way to judge a player. That's why we're judging him off the games. But what we saw in the highlights, I can see the potential for that. Attacking closeouts, knocking down the open three, that kind of stuff. I'm going to keep an eye out on him defensively, because his brother, Max Christie, is a very solid defender. So I want to see if he can be the same or around that level. But overall, pretty encouraging. Nice the Clippers ended up getting the win in the end. But Summer League is all about assessing how good these young guys can be. The guys that actually have a chance of being on the roster, can they make an impact this season? Can they actually work their way into the rotation? Or are they guys that are going to spend time in the G League? And with the Clippers, are they just G League guys, or are they not NBA players at all? That's what the Summer League is for. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. In the next episode, we're going to be talking about the Clippers' second Summer League game against the Brooklyn Nets. So make sure to tune into that. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper, LA Sports, and NBA content. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Let me know anything about stuff I said to comment on throughout the episode. Let me know what you thought of the Summer League game for the Clippers against the Nuggets, and if you were particularly impressed or not impressed by any of the players. Open forum, comment whatever you want below. Make sure you keep subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you know every single time we post a video. Your only 5-day-a-week Clipper podcast. And yeah, keep telling your friends about it. Keep telling other Clipper fans. You subscribe with your burner accounts and your alternate accounts. Every account. Let's get up to 6K and show everyone what Clipper Nation is all about. The age-old proverb continues, go Clippers.